I see a full moon rising.
Let's burn through that.
My name's Nick.
And I'm Dax.
And welcome to the Call Room, our rugby union YouTube chat show.
And lots to talk about this week.
Yeah, I think let's start off by saying congratulations to the Southern Kings for winning their first game in the Pro 14. I think that's a round of applause. It took them 16 games to get it done, but doing us proud now.
Looking up, and they did it at home, which is always a good sign of a team on the up and up. Let's hope that next Pro 14 the team could grow on that and definitely put a stronger showing in this next year.
And also, second, congratulations, you're not wearing black. So
yeah, it's true. I got more than one colour in my wardrobe.
So maybe we can see some more colour variation.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Rain great for the Stormers lose.
So Friday night was the full moon, at least here in South Africa. And Friday morning we saw another full moon.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but first we had the Blues versus the Chiefs in a pretty stock standard New Zealand derby.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, the opening tries were off mauls instead of normal running lines, but that just shows that the New Zealand forwards are just really strong this season.
Yeah, the New Zealanders showing that they're more than just a backline attacking style of rugby, breaking gaps and that type of thing, working with the forwards off the line out.
Yep.
Strong mauls. I mean, it was really, really good to see. Again, it was up and down rugby, one side not dominating over the other, until the very end, the Chiefs stealing it from the Blues at the end.
Yeah, that 5 metre line, I'll tell you, they're going to be practicing that one this week.
Yeah, I can think of a few other teams that can work on their line out, but for me, the turning point for that game was the poor pass by a Blues player, Chiefs number 9, running clear 55 metres, basically unchallenged for a really, really good solo try.
But I have to give it to Bryn Gatland. He had a fantastic running line to score his try. He's right now top scorer of the tournament. I mean, we are only 3 rounds in, but still, I wonder if Dad's giving him tips over the phone.
Probably, but he's definitely looking like a contender for a New Zealand jersey at number 10 behind Bowden Barrett.
Yeah.
Really, really solid fly half. It'll be nice to see him actually get the chance.
Yeah, I agree. Ben O'Keefe was the referee for that game. Tell me what you thought of him.
Ben O'Keefe, basically a standard game for him. I didn't see anything much untowardly from throughout the game. I thought he managed the game pretty well. Game was free flowing for most of it. I thought he was basically just a really good day. Very clear on his calls and basically what he wanted of the players. So yeah, I think we both gave him 8 out of 10 for that game.
Solid ref. He genuinely is a solid ref. So I agree with you on that one. So second game of the Friday matches, Reds versus Brumbies.
And this is where we see a full moon.
Full moon rising, eh? Or falling.
A bit awkward there, but well done on the player, attacking the line to pull his pants back up.
Hey, listen, the guy is still running with his pants halfway down his legs.
Yeah, pretty much.
And at pace. So this is impressive. And ball in hand, he pulls it up.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive.
It's very impressive.
I got to give it to that number 10.
Yeah. And actually, the save off the grubber that went through when he took that ball and the incident that suit, great rugby all round from him. Definitely going to be a player to watch in the Reds.
I have to say the Brumbies tries in this game were fantastic. Lots of clear lines. It was a good game from the Brumbies, but their discipline cost them down. The Reds won this game by kicking.
Yeah, the Reds basically capitalising on very easy kickable penalties that the Brumbies gave away. A lot of breakdowns, a lot off the scrums as well. Although the Brumbies scored a fantastic, their second try was actually off the back of a scrum, number 8 basically going off and then straightening the line, which is always difficult to stop.
And then the scrum up picking up from the following ruck and just cantering over. It was great rugby from them. One thing is they also need to work on their conversions. Yep. If they got in those conversions, they would have won the game.
Well, conversions costing them and not kicking over their penalties, which is a massive problem. They also need to decide when is the actual opportune moment to actually attack the line out to get the try or to actually make those kickable penalties.
Who was that Brumbies fullback? Jesse Mogg. That's who they need. They need his boot back, or at least someone like Jesse Mogg to at least come back and
give another option at the penalties and that type of thing. I think the Brumbies this week needed a cool set of heads. Didn't work that way. The Reds need to work on their discipline, especially with no arm shoulder tackles.
Yeah, it happened again.
Yeah, another player being sent off for a dangerous shoulder charge. They're going to have to work on that, and I think they're going to have some serious problems further on the line, down the line if they keep doing that.
Yeah. Angus Gardner was the ref in that game. In my opinion, he's the top Australian ref. He's very clear with his calls. He's very consistent with his calls. And I didn't see him do anything wrong.
No,
really.
He communicates really, really well with the players. He tells them exactly what he wants. Basically, he's very good at explaining the reason for why he's penalising player. I mean, just the incident with the shoulder charge. Yeah. Very clear, very concise. He told the player exactly what was wrong.
I think his exact was no arms and tackle, you led with the shoulder, and there was excessive force.
Yeah,
card.
Sorry, you have to go. And that's very good. And I agree. He is the top Australian referee at the present moment. I think he's currently our front runner in terms of the referees. Very consistent week in, week out. So we gave him a solid 8 out of 10 again.
Yep. Sun Wolves versus Rebels. You were right. This one was a bit earlier in the day than I thought it was. But we can still talk about it.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it. Again, we missed this one, so we're basing this off highlights. Sun Wolves, very, very good at contesting again. Small errors coming into their game at inopportune times, busy costing them like key moments. I think the Sunwolves are definitely a better side this year than they were the previous 2 years. I think the bolstering of players from Australia, South Africa, New Zealand coming into their things, building a rugby culture out of them is definitely coming through. But you can't win games, one, if you're constantly playing in your half, and two, if you keep giving your opposition the ball.
No, I agree. And I really just felt that they lost it in the last few minutes. It was, the last 20 minutes or so, because that's when the Rebels seemed to find their cohesion, and then they just ran in try after try after try.
Yeah. For me, the try of that game was the the Sunwolves left wing with that brilliant intercept in an attacking line with the Rebels. Basically, just getting right in between the player and the pass and running for a good 45-meter try on his ace. I mean, that was a fantastic try, and it's nice to see that the Sunwolves are at least trying that.
The ref there was Egon Seconds. Sounds more like a Game of Thrones character, but
funny enough, he used to be a former Stormers and Western Province winger before he actually turned to a referee. So he had a very, very sound game. I don't think he's anything flashy or anything like that. I think he called basic calls down the middle, communicated well from what I could see. No cards in this game either, so it looks like the game was managed pretty well. So we gave him a straightforward 7 out of 10, which I think is a very, very good average score for the game.
I think so too, and at least for me this is the first time I ever heard of this ref. So maybe we can see more from him this season and see what he's really like.
Yeah, definitely.
We can go into your nightmare now. Crusaders versus Stormers. Let's just start this off with a little thing saying that the Stormers were shown their asses. No,
they definitely were. We lost that game in the first 25 minutes, to be quite honest. The Crusaders,
they ran in 3 tries in what, 17 minutes?
Yeah, so the first 3 tries were in 17 minutes, they scored a fourth by the 25th minute. Stormers' defensive lines were technically non-existent. The lineouts were woeful yet again. Even with Peter Steph the toy back, just not there. Their calls are just not.
I think they got like 2 out of 7 lineouts or something like that.
I don't know. Either the calls are a problem, or the fact that the lineout jumpers are not working with their hookers at all to get. I mean, to be quite honest, when they lost the first 2, I already immediately thought, actually, get it to the front of the lineout rather. Get it to the first jumper, build them all. Again, Crusaders, the first 2 tries or 3 tries were all built up off of rolling mauls.
And again shows, I mean, we had the Blues and the Chiefs that implement the maul very well, and now we have the Crusaders doing it for 2 or 3 tries, and they mauled the Stormers badly. Like the second maul was what, 15 meters?
So I mean, again, the Stormers, their own worst enemy. They did get back into the contest, scoring 4 tries to the Crusaders, 7 at the end of it. Fighting to the end, I will give them that, but we need to work on our tackle techniques, especially out wide. Raymond Rule got bounced off way too many tackles again. Siobelo Sinatla a little bit better. That's a little bit on the small side, but again, you know, we need to work on technique. We've seen smaller players tackle bigger players with much better techniques without being bounced off. I mean, you can think of Gio Aplan from years gone by.
He's still playing. Just so
he's still playing in the French leagues, and he's still doing very, very well.
Even like Cheslin Colby, he was diminutive.
Yeah,
it's the tackle.
Fantastic tackle. It's the technique. It's not about physicality in the tackle in this regard. It's just getting your player down, contesting the ball. Funny enough, I didn't see that much counter rucks from either the Crusaders or Stormers in this one.
Let's be honest, the Crusaders didn't need to counter ruck.
That's also true. But again, Stormers also fell under the high ball again, showing up with that only on one occasion, but it still led to one of the Crusaders' tries eventually. No stand-up players for the Stormers as well.
Yeah,
maybe
some worrying injuries though. I mean, Peter Steff was taken off the field. They say he'll be back for next weekend's game.
We'll see.
The reserve lock, JD Schicklin.
Well, JD Schicklin was the number 4 lock who started, but
I'm used to him being on the bench. You see this?
Yeah, him with the shoulder injury. SP Murray already a worry with his knees, but played better once they removed that gaudy cast off him.
What was the commentator calling it? The mummy leg.
The mummy leg. I mean, come on.
Just a shout out to those commentators for that game. Priceless commentary. Love what you were saying. You had me on the floor in laughter. I just love New Zealand commentators.
They are good, and I mean, I love the New Zealand commentators because there's one guy who's a legitimate commentator, and the rest are all players. So they're basically calling the players, and they do it with a bit of aplomb and tongue in cheek. So you gotta love the New Zealanders. I mean, Kiwi commentators are entertaining.
Yeah,
I mean they. Compared to the South African commentators, although much respect to you guys because a lot of the South African commentators are players alike, but they don't do it the same level as the New Zealanders.
Yeah, I guess. I think we're straying off topic here, but hell, the South African commentators are very structured.
Yeah,
very much like I'm reporting it as it is, what's happening, and maybe we'll speculate a little bit around the rules.
I mean, the Australian commentators from last week when Stephen Kitchell got his meat pie.
I mean, Ginger Ninja from South Africa.
You know, I must give it to the Australian and New Zealand commentators in general. So hopefully South African commentators can learn from that too. Hey, maybe we should become commentators.
I don't know if I'm quick enough.
No, neither am I. But anyway, we're straying off topic here. But
Nick Berry was the ref in that game. I felt he was fine. He officiated very well.
Yeah. Funny enough, no New Zealand flat passes this one. It was a very skillful game.
Yeah.
He called everything down the line. There was discipline. There wasn't really that many discipline issues in this game. It was a really, really great game of rugby when the Stormers got into the contest as well. They fought back very well, I felt. And look, the Stormers do have huge potential and they need to work on it, but they must write off this tour, come back home, and then just work from there, to be honest.
Just a little side note of congratulations to, I think it's Luke Romano, got his 100th Super Rugby cap. I think that's quite an achievement for a player. Considering that they only play 14 games, 15 games a season, so well done to him.
Yeah, very well done.
So then we'll move on to South African games. We have the Sharks versus the
Sharks versus the Waratahs. Yeah, it was a snooze fest. Way too many handling errors in that game. I mean, it was stop-start from start to finish. I think I actually passed out in the last 20 minutes.
To be honest, that long. I fell asleep after like 40 minutes.
Yeah, look, nothing against the referee, it was just the nature of the game. Sharks, their own worst enemies in this one, as far as I believe.
They were really their own worst enemies, and which is unfortunate because you have players like Lucanio who scored 2 tries.
And he could have
got a hat-trick if Robert de Croo wasn't so selfish.
Well, look, in those situations, either you go all the way or
pass a 50. That was a good try.
That was a good try. Yeah. Or give a 50-50 pass and lose it.
Well, that's what the Stormers love to do.
Pretty much. Cobus Visa, we're looking at you.
So, I mean, Yaku Pepe, he had a lot of whistle duty. There was a lot of knock-ons in that game, far too many. The Sharks should have won this game, but they lost it with their own handling errors. Yeah. They shouldn't have drawn the match with the Waratahs. They outplayed the Waratahs. You just look at all the stats. They had more running meters, they had more time in the opposition territory. They had better possession, fewer missed tackles. It was literally handling errors that cost them.
Yeah, it's handling errors, losing the ball in contact, just simple things like that. It shows you how important for the South African teams need to learn how to actually protect the ball in contact. It's just one of our weaknesses that we need to take care of, especially before we go into the international break, where we've got England coming down. We need players who actually know how to keep and manage the ball, especially in contact. And again, the Sharks are showing frailties in those areas. I mean, the Sharks, for all money on paper, should have won that match.
Yeah, and I think Jaco Paper, he did the best he could. I mean, we gave him a 7.5 just basically because...
Yeah, there's not much you can do in the stop-start.
Yeah, he was doing his job, and when there's that many stop-start situations, it's a hard one. But then we can go on to... Let me just say, I feel like, I'll be honest here, the Bulls weren't going to win that game.
No
matter what we say, could have, should have, would have happened. The Bulls' defense was shocking. 25 missed tackles in a game is just unacceptable. Handling errors also. Forwards were just dominated in the scrums, balls, and the general play. I have to say the backline performed decently.
Yeah.
And I think the Lions did well. I think the Bulls were very clever in how they shut down Janche, which we must put Raymond Rule in contact with, because that is how you tackle on a try line.
Janche was fantastic for the Lions, even though the Bulls were very clever at shutting him down. Not really getting him into play, but he's still a very, very brilliant player, genuine open player. He did link up very, very well. Ross Cronier and Elton Yankees did control the match from the Bulls, keeping the Bulls out of the contest in key moments. I have
to say, I felt Boshoff and Pollard's new positions in the backline. This was a very late change. They performed very well. I think Pollard, even though it's a traditional fly-off, he was there in defence.
Yeah.
He was running good lines. I mean, he had that magnificent little chip that led to a try.
But you can't win matches when your forwards are going backwards. Unfortunately, the Bulls were dominated by the Lions forwards, which is a big change from what happened last week when the Jaguars put the Lions forwards under immense pressure early on. The Bulls not getting it right this week, missed tackles being an issue, again not getting the ball. I mean, you got some really top tier Bulls backline players who can actually take a game away from opposition teams, and they just couldn't get into the game. I mean, Pollard did have a moment's brilliance with that excellent chip leading to a try, but players like poor Warwick Gallant in the last 10 minutes completely not getting go forward ball, and he's the type of player who actually feeds off of that.
But let's talk about the main talking point here, the officiating. That was absolute trash.
It was.
Let's just start from what I think was the beginning of all of this, okay? Consistency.
Yeah.
Now, the Bulls' discipline wasn't the greatest.
No.
There's no two ways about it. I'm not blaming the ref for that. Rightly, he warned them about their discipline within the 5 meter area. Exact words, too many penalties happening in this area in reference to the 5 meter. If it happens again, a player's going off. Cool. The next infringement by the Bulls 10 minutes later wasn't even in the 22 meter. It was on the 10 meter line, and there was a yellow card. Yeah. That is not consistent, because the exact warning was in the 5 meter. But fine. Following penalty in the 5 meter, possible try, cool. Bulls down to 13 men, they're going to struggle anyway, 3 tries run in, done, dusted. That was the game for the Bulls. Now, when the Bulls had their resurgence at the end, the Lions had 3 penalties in the 5 meter area in a row while the Bulls are attacking. The ref didn't even warn them. It took Andre Pollard to say to the ref, "Sorry, sir, shouldn't there be a warning now?" Angus Gardner goes, yes, you're right.
Actually, it was Marius van der Westhuizen.
Marius van der Westhuizen. He goes, yes, you're right. And he walks over to the Lions captain and goes, I'm giving you a warning now, like I did down there. And what happens? They infringe again. Was a card given?
No cards, no penalty. Well, penalty obviously, but no cards.
And then there was also just a lack of consistency at the scrum points as well. There were scrum penalties which should have gone one way, that went the other way, that shouldn't have even happened. And
Yeah, there was a penalty awarded to the Lions for the Bulls prop not keeping his weight up. But on the other end, it actually showed the Lions player also his feet shot up out from underneath him, and they never even penalised him. The Lions were awarded a scrum penalty. The Bulls were awarded a scrum penalty for a dominant Lions scrum. The Bulls were going backwards, and he gave the Bulls the penalty.
I think it was just a little like it wasn't his game at all, and he hurt the game, because I think we're all going to remember this game for the bad officiating and not the rugby that was played. Okay,
it's at no Bryce Lawrence level of poor officiating. But still, Marius van der Westhuizen, I think the hype of this game actually got to him. It was a massive derby, the Bulls versus Lion, which is understandable. He just didn't control the match with any consistency. I don't think he even rocked up to the game today. I mean, the officiating was basically passable.
Yeah, I mean, we gave him
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10, just because there was no consistency whatsoever.
Yeah, breakdown calls that were to me suspect at best. I mean, could have gone one way or the other, but again, some calls made me go, how did you get to that conclusion?
Yeah. So I think we should leave it there, because it's actually working me up a bit.
Yeah. Next game, Jaguars versus the Hurricanes. Lucky not to get a yellow card in the first 5 minutes.
There should have been a yellow card there, though. That was a late tackle after a try had been scored.
And no arms.
And because it was late, there was exception taken, and there was a little scuffle on the advertising board. I mean, shame, poor Nike, they got their board broken in half.
I'm sorry, but to me, the line should be drawn there. There shouldn't be any of that off. The guy was in the try line area. He was putting the ball down. There's no need to shoulder charge the guy at all.
And that should have been a card.
They easily. Jaguars discipline. Lucky enough, or funny enough, Jaguars lucky to not get any cards this game. The Hurricanes got a send off for dangerous tackle, for what I believe. It was a bit late for us to watch. But the Hurricanes pulling it through, winning a good win. They did have a bit of a slow period where the Jaguars came back with a few penalties. But again, New Zealanders showing their dominance again, getting front foot ball, dominating with the backs and some really clean line breaks. Eventually just coming through and just winning it outright.
Easy peasy. Nick Bryant was the ref, and just because of that lack of yellow card, we marked him down a bit.
Yeah, we gave him a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, you have to tell the players where this is the line. We've seen referees give red cards for shoulder charges the past couple of weeks, setting the standard with shoulder charges in general being a straight yellow card, especially at force. I honestly think that should have...
Late, dangerous, after a try had been scored.
It's a card. Yeah, that's a card.
But enough about that, I think.
Yeah, but
so I think these are our thoughts on round 3 of Super Rugby. Stay tuned for later in the week, where we'll bring up a preview episode of what we think is going to happen in round 4, and a little segment we've been discussing. So thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, please subscribe, please like us, please comment, please send us your questions, give us any suggestions. We are happy to hear from you. We like seeing some of the comments and reading through them. We really, really appreciate it. I mean, rugby is an objective sport, so what we see, I mean, you have your observations, I have my observations. We like to hear your observations, and bring up anything from this weekend that you think should be brought to attention.
Yeah, and just a little shout out to a fellow channel, I think, Unbiased Rugby. Yeah. He offers some very good insights, and when he comments on our videos, so give him a watch if you're into this kind of thing.
And thank you to the Sanzar YouTube channel, because we catch up on a lot of the highlights from there. So shout out to you guys as well. If you do miss a few of the games, definitely the perfect one to watch a quick 5-minute highlight.
Yeah, so thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and see you later in the week.
Yeah, bye guys.